Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a guy, or excuse me, boy, I already messed that up. Good job, Bruce. Boomer. Hi, everyone. My name is Bruce Lombardo, and today you are with us at A Girl, Two Guys, and a Movie. And we are discussing today the 1994 classic from Tom Shadyac, uh, Ace Ventura.
Shadyac.
Yeah, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective with Jim Carrey, Courtney Cox, Sean Young, and a host of other fine
Dan
actors.
Marino.
My mouth, it started doing that Carey thing, but I
What up, world champions?
Laces
There
out.
we go.
laces out. Dan
Yeah.
die Dan.
Yeah,
God,
I did.
I,
I thought
I
it was
laughed. I laughed about. I saw this movie in theaters back in '90. I want to say late '94. We saw it at the Dollar Cinema
94.
because it made its way there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'd never heard of it, so I went and saw it, and I wouldn't shut up about it for like 6 months.
I never heard of it because all the guys that were telling me to go watch it were all into football, and they said Dan Marino is going to be in a movie, and I was like, "Who's that?" So it was funny, but I remember going to the movies to see it
I
at
remember
a
seeing that.
cheap theater too. So,
Yeah.
but it wasn't when
All
it
my
was
stoner
first
friends
out
and I,
either.
we would hit up movies.
It was at the Dollar Theater when I saw it.
Yeah, I think there was a bunch of movies that we saw before this, and then we or whatever. It's like $2.50. It was under $5
Mhm.
regular cinema price. What up, Crafty?
So Janet, when you saw this movie,
Mhm.
you were really enjoying the hell out of it, and this movie kind of stuck with you over the years.
Well, as you can tell, one of the scenes I really, really loved was when he was in the pool and he was mimicking Bones and Captain Kirk, and the other characters from Star Trek. I thought that was great. And he did a really good job at the sound effects of opening and closing his communicator, all that stuff. I just thought this was my favorite movie ever by Jim Carrey. And I'd never even heard of him. So, and I didn't watch football, so I didn't even know who Dan Marino was until I saw this movie. So, I just wasn't into that kind of sports. I was into, I'd go to rodeos and things like that. So, but I thought it was great. I loved it. I laughed through the whole movie. Well, not on everything as much as I did the first time I saw it, but I thought it was just as funny. And if a young kid that was 13 to 16 or whatever, maybe 12, watch this, they would laugh. They would think it's funny because he was funny. Now, that's the movie that we watched. There wasn't the scene in it that I remember seeing where when he took the dog back to the woman, there was a couple of scenes. It just didn't seem like they were in there this anymore.
I don't think this is a cut version.
So I don't know.
This is a theatrical release version that I have.
Oh, it is? Okay, well, maybe I don't know what happened then, why I missed it. I did get up, though, to give a drink, so I might have missed that part.
Mandela effect.
So,
Mandela.
I don't know.
Reality has been altered since then.
But I know that they have been going and cutting movies up because they don't like the content.
Yeah, we got to watch the French Connection soon.
The whole scene, the crying game scene, just thought it was so funny. And at the end, when they all see Captain Winky and they're all like spitting and stuff, all the guys, because they all were making out with him. I just thought it was funny. But it was really funny. Yeah. And if he hadn't jumped in that box at the last second to hide, because he wasn't supposed to be in there, he wouldn't have known about Lois Einhorn, the missing hiker, that he escaped and pretended to be. So, just little things like that. I just thought it was really good. I just thought it was a very well done movie. And I know the script didn't start out that way, that they made changes, and they specifically hired the director because they thought that the director would work well with Jim Carrey. And They did. I thought they did a really good job. Hi. I haven't seen you in forever. It's been what, over
Awesome.
almost 2 years.
Says my
How are you?
leukemia is not getting worse. Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah,
So
my aunt goes
happy.
in on for hers. She's got lung cancer, so and should be fine.
I'm doing really well.
I forgot what I was going to say. It was movie related shit.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that
Save me, please.
I clicked out a bunch of little trivia tidbits about it, but I did also write down some of my favorite scenes. But do you want to go from
What it was.
beginning to the end and just talk through it that way?
This movie is 30 years old.
Mhm.
And it was made 32 years ago. So if you want to jump to something about the end, or if you want to discuss something in the dead middle of it, I'm not
Oh,
gonna.
I love the very beginning when you see him just walking calmly down the sidewalk, and he's got a package, and then you realize when he's throwing the package around, and you hear the clanking sounds of the broken stuff inside, you automatically think of UPS, So even though they had a different name on his shirt and stuff, but as he's going along, because every single person I
Invert it.
know.
Invert the name on his
Yeah.
delivery man.
Turn
and
it
it's
upside
UPS.
down and it says UPS. But the thing is the fact that they made fun of so many things in this movie, and I missed that. It made me long for more movies. I went back in time, like it was like a time warp for me, and it made me appreciate how wonderful movies were. It was what, 1994? Is that what you said?
94.
Okay. The movies and watching them later on DVD and stuff like that, it just makes you long for good movies like this, movies that can make fun of everyone and everything, and it's still wonderful, and it's entertainment, because even though the scene where he falls backward into the shark tank, and you see the terror on his face after the shark jumped out of the water, it's to eat the smelt that he had in his hand. And then you see him being splashed around like in the movie Jaws, and he comes out of the bathroom soaking wet with his pants ripped to shreds, but he's not bleeding or anything. Even though it didn't have his legs get torn off or anything, we didn't care. We still laughed and we went on with it. We didn't expect every detail to be real. You know what I mean? We could laugh at comedy because it was comedy. I don't know. I just loved it. I just thought it took me back in time.
Comedy.
It was awesome. Thank you so much for letting me watch it again, because I forgot how much I loved it.
This movie originally supposed to be done like a Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Think almost like Pink Panther. Mm-hmm. I figured they were going for, but they had to do some rewrites and whatnot. And it's interesting how you see in this movie slapstick and physical comedy and gags, but crumbs throughout the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see where they went from like Sherlock Holmes, and then Jim Carrey specifically wanted the really crazy, zany stuff,
mm-hmm.
but his character was competent. So, yeah, it was a good melt of the two of slapstick comedy and detective.
And what was so funny too,
I
wanted to add, was I went to 5 or 6 different websites to try to get an idea from back when it first came out, and went online to the people talking about the movie, what they thought about, from us, the people like us that had watched it, and then other people that were like reviewers, okay, back a little bit after it came out, like 2 years after. Yeah, to see what they said. And then I went and looked at stuff for today, people that would see it today. And it just kills me to see how many people were saying, this movie's horrible. Jim Carrey should never be able to act again because of him portraying this character and hating trans, just all this stuff. They couldn't watch this movie and enjoy it because that's all they would think. They're so brainwashed into believing that if you get a sex change, you have to be a trans. Okay. This person in this movie did not get a sex change because they were transgender or thought they were. They didn't have gender dysphoria. This person did it to get even with the person that ruined his life. Okay. Totally. They lost that. They couldn't get past the stigma of him being a woman. Okay. And look at this actress that played Finkel and Einhorn or whatever you want to, however you want to put it, either way. When she played that character, she knew that she was playing a man that's pretending to be a woman, right? And she didn't have a problem with it. Okay, because she's an actress. These are actors in a movie portraying characters. And it's sad to me that people can't go to a movie and try just to absorb what the movie's supposed to be trying to tell you, instead of having to put all this woke crap in there and say, oh, I can't watch it because of this, that, and the other. Okay, if a person is a dick, okay, I've watched lots of movies that I couldn't stand the person in it, and I could judge it by the movie, not because that person's a dick, right? Or an asshole, or whatever you want to call it. So it's just sad that so many young people today, I'd say, 14 to 27, run in there, or just have a hard time being able to associate with anything like this, real comedy. Slapstick humor, like was in Living Color and Mad TV, that, and it's Saturday Night Live when it first started, when it was funny. You make fun of people and make fun of anyone. Didn't matter if you're a man, woman, what gender you thought you were, what race you were, old, young. They made fun of everyone. And we used to be able to look at ourselves and laugh at mistakes that we made and say, well, tomorrow I'm going to try to get up. And, comedy, laughing, doing stuff that you're supposed to laugh your ass off for an hour at whatever show. The Carol Burnett show, Tim Conway, all those people. My mom loved those shows. And she used to love Tim Conway. She loved Carol Burnett. And she said her mom and her would sit and laugh at all these shows. And she watched this. My grandmother loved, what was the name of the show? Oh, damn it. Hee Haw, Hee Haw. And Laugh-In. My grandmother loved Laugh-In. And they just can't do that anymore. You can't make anything like that. And it's sad because this was really funny.
A lot of Hee Haw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people did. It was.
And then from the Nick at Night reruns of Laughing, all the other comedy shows. When the kids were supposed to be sleeping, let me get away with shit. So that was cool. Yeah. Kudos on you, Mom and Dad.
I always got in trouble. I got grounded or whatever.
I don't want to be a stick in the mud. I mean,
go ahead.
No,
Audrey Cotton.
I watched this movie and I'm like, I really found this to be funny as shit and like new back in the day. And I'm watching it going, all right, I've laughed a handful of times, and the end credits are on.
Mm-hmm. And it's not new anymore.
It's not new anymore, but I was expecting more laugh out of Bruce. I mean, Jim Carrey,
It's because you got Mrs. Downhill.
He's completely kinetic in his film. He's so kinetic, and at the time, like when I was 19 and I watched it, like. This movie was peak comedy, and there's parts of it that are fucking great. But I
mean, the part where he goes to the guy's house with that package and he gives it to him, and he says it's broken, And he goes, well, I brought you insurance form. Here, fill this out. And then he takes the stuffed dog out from under his shirt and sets it there, puts the other dog in his shirt. Okay, the whole thing. And the guy greets him at the door with 2 black eyes. And he looks like a badass, like he could crush him with one hand. Basically.
Randall Tex Cobb. That's all.
He really had black eyes. He really had black eyes. I'll look that up.
He was a professional boxer.
Okay.
He's a freaking pro boxer. God, if he answered the door with anything less than black eyes, I mean, the guy's been unemployed.
But the thing is, when he took the dog back, okay, and he goes out to his car, to me, it was believable of who he was as they portrayed us. They gave you his arc, his character arc, and he opened it up to us. They proved to us that he was a pet detective because he loved animals. Because when he opened his ashtray and it popped way out, and he could feed the little dog some kibble, you know, who does that? What other person would do something like that in their vehicle for his job, right? To make money. And it was funny that when they were talking about finding the dolphin or needing to find the dolphin, and the lady goes, well, I had a guy, I lost my dog, and he was very, very good at it. You know, like he found my Cuddles or whatever her name of her pet was. And so that's why they called him. So that was believable. See, the whole thing, even though the police were already looking into it, their boss told them, you know, you find the dolphin or you find new jobs, basically. So they were grabbing other things to see if they could find someone that would help them find this missing dolphin. And the fact is that this guy, even though he was very eccentric and weird and dorky, he was a genius when it came to searching for things and being unfolding certain things in front of him, because he was a genius at being a detective. And I just thought I just loved it. I thought they did a great job taking a script, rewriting it to fit Jim Carrey, because they had first thought about Rick Moranis for the part. And Rick Moranis said no, because he had scheduling problems and stuff. And he said,
there's something else going on with Rick Moranis, because from what I heard, Rick Moranis had a real disagreement on set.
Mm-hmm. He wasn't happy.
There's something else that happened, and yes,
that was during that whole before he started taking care of his kids, right?
Yeah.
The switch.
The long hiatus of Rick Moranis from Hollywood.
Well, I just wanted to tell Flavy, I never saw Once Bitten or In Living Color before I saw him in Ace Ventura. So I was lucky. I had never heard of Jim Carrey. I didn't even know who Dan Marino was. I just had some friends say, you need to see this. It's really funny. You'll really enjoy it. And I liked some comedy. Okay, I liked it, but I loved animals. So the whole concept to me, I thought was funny. You know, I thought it would be a cute, and I knew Courtney Cox because she was in a music video.
That you'll never get an image of her dancing with the boss out of your head.
No, after I saw her in that video, that's the only reason I knew who Courtney Cox was. But I didn't know anybody else basically in the whole movie. But I laughed my butt off. Do what?
I knew her from Dream On. If you saw the comedy Dream On.
I never saw that.
It was an interesting show. It would never get aired again.
And some little things like it brought me back. It took me back in time. I just remember watching stuff with my mom. Maybe that's one reason why I just thought it was so good today, getting to watch it again. When he goes to that fancy schmancy mansion, okay, and the guy that played the rich guy, he looked familiar, but I couldn't hear what it was.
Janet, you should get used to him. He's going to be in a lot of movies with your view.
Okay, well, he's cute too. He was really cute back then. But when he answered the door, the guy was there, and he said, "Hello, Captain Stubing." I just started laughing my ass off because he looked like him. He really looked like him. And he goes, "How's something in Doc?" I can't remember. Gopher and Doc. I was just laughing, and you could see the guy that answered the door trying not to laugh. I mean, because I can't even imagine how funny It was on set with Courtney Cox and everybody, with Jim Carrey, because he's good at ad-libbing. And I would love to have got to go behind stage when they were making Living Color, because I guarantee it was funny as shit, with all the Wayne sisters and brothers in there, just all this letting it all out, and Jamie Foxx being there, and Jim Carrey as Fire Marshal Bill, all that. I would have loved it. But that whole scene when he goes in and he starts going licking the the hors d'oeuvres and shit. I mean, I'm telling you, I've done crazy shit like that. I remember I went to a party and I was dressed to the nines, had a little black dress on, a jacket with sparkles on it, and I just felt hot. And it was a bunch of football players, and it was a real football team, Kansas City Chiefs, and I got invited to go to Missouri, and they're right connected, so I went to this party, and it was at some fancy house, and they had, oh my God, they had this huge spread with like smoked salmon and raw oysters, and they had like a fondue little thing where you take the breadcrumbs and stick them in there. It was just really ritzy, and I was trying to act like I had class, even though I had no class. I'm me. And I was just trying to walk around and act like, but I saw those oysters and stuff, and I saw all that stuff, and I was like, holy shit, this stuff's worth a lot of money. So I just stood there and just took a toothpick and just started eating oyster after oyster, eating everything I just stood by the buffet all night eating like a pig. And I ended up throwing up when I got back home, and I was drunk as a skunk because guys kept bringing me shots, and I was just having a great time. It was wonderful, but I could see, how he was acting at that party. People were just looking at him like, who is this guy and why is he here? And then she said, "This is Tom Ace." She did a good job. I just thought the whole scene was great. And then when he found he was overly dramatic, but I've had friends that were like that were very over the top, boisterous. I'm like that up to some degree myself, compared to my sisters. Like I said, when you grow up in a house with that many kids, you have to out-talk them, talk louder than them, or do something to attract attention to you, so that you can get into the conversation. Because I think Bruce kind of has an idea what I'm talking about. He's been in a couple streams with my sisters and me, and and just imagine two more of us, added to that mix. It's hard. My mother, I tell my mother before she died,
you get them all up and it's going to break all the seals, and then the apocalypse.
It's just I just love this movie. I laughed just looking at different stuff, going back again. And it was like, I could watch it one more time again and see more in it, but I've forgotten how many wonderful little juicy tidbits, like when he goes to the door at Finkel's house, right? And it says, Die Finkel, choker and all this different stuff, because he was a shitty kicker, right? And then he knocks on the door and a rifle comes right out into his face, and he goes, "What can I do for it?" And he goes, I need another pair of shorts," or whatever it was. I was just laughing. I couldn't stop laughing, because to me that was freaking funny. And I was shocked how many times a gun was pointed at people in this movie. I mean, Courtney Cox held a gun to Tone Loc's head for like 15 minutes, it seemed like, in the movie. And then that rifle being right in his face. Now, it might have just been the pipe of a rifle, but it looked like it had a real rifle in his face. And then when he goes in, the way the mom and dad act, with each other, and he's like, to her, he's coming home, but he ain't coming home. I just thought it was really good. I just thought that it was funny. I don't see how. I'm sorry that you didn't enjoy it as much, Bruce, as you did.
I wanted to like it more.
I did. I did. I let myself just be. I stepped back in time and just put my feet up, had my drink. I should have had popcorn.
Feel for you, Bruce, because it's like Dan Aykroyd from '74 to the early '80s. He was top of his game, physical comedy and SNL and Saturday Night Live talent.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did like Fletch Lives, so on. By '93, he's doing top late night. They're good. So Jim Carrey, for you, at his peak, young and impressionable, it makes sense. I was 17 when I saw him. It was hot shit.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, I look back and I'm like, yeah, and he Hollywood virus thing going on, and now he's like kind of creeping out of it, making a comeback, I guess. But that was peak Jim Carrey 30 years ago, and he's been
Wasn't that his
since
first
the
movie?
early
His
80s.
first
So let's say
breaking out movie? Wasn't that it?
first break. Yeah, 'cause he was in a bunch of these as like a bit player or uh, side character type of thing.
Yeah.
He came like Jim Carrey is Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. And then he was doing his comedy routine, which got him on In Living Color, and that kind of got him in the media more. And then he went back and did some, and it was Ace Ventura that kicked it off.
All I know is after I saw this movie, I liked Jim Carrey, and then after that, I wanted to see more of his movies. You know what I mean? I started when I saw a trailer and it had him in it. I was like, oh, he's really funny. I want to see it. And I wasn't happy with the second Ace Ventura. I didn't think it was very good at all. I thought it was just crap. But I loved him in Liar Liar, and I loved him in The Mask. Those are two other movies that I just really, really liked him in. So, I do think he's a good actor. Now, I think he's gone way out, but
Truman Show was probably one of his best movies that wasn't comedy.
Which one? Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
The Truman Show.
Yeah. I don't think I saw that one yet.
It had comedy in it, but it wasn't really a comedy movie.
Now, I didn't even see the one where he played God or something Almighty, Bruce Almighty or something. Other people saw it, but I didn't.
Bruce Almighty.
So, there was a few things I hadn't seen. But the fact that I just liked him after that, I thought he was really funny. I thought he did a really good job. I just didn't really like the second one. I thought he was too, I don't know. It just seemed like he was too over the top. It wasn't believable anymore. It seemed like every single line he made it up. It was there, it didn't go with the script or whatever. I don't know what it was exactly. Maybe I was just having a bad day when I saw it, but I didn't see it again. It wasn't like Ace Ventura, and I've watched like 20 times. I've seen Ace Ventura like 20 times, and I thought it was really good.
Well, Janet, if you really like the Ace Ventura 1 but didn't like Ace Ventura 2, that's understandable.
Why did you like it?
I thought Ace Ventura 2 was really good at the time. So if I watch it again, I'm pretty certain it's going to suck. That's just how it is for me. Like, there's certain movies that just don't hold the same performance for me. Like, I can watch 80% of all the films from '94 and love it. I watched The Crow with you 2 years ago. Still love that movie. I still love that movie. The Crow still hits me right in the heart. The emotion, the soundtrack, the special effects. The first time you see CGI properly used, where they start superimposing people's faces over a dead guy's body, that's great.
Yeah.
Over a stuntman's body, that's really good. I thought The Crow was the first best use of CGI. Like before or right after The Crow came out, Ace Ventura came out. Same year. Cannibal Corpse does a demo or a cameo in it. And that's not one of my favorite bands by any means, but it's a band that I can listen to very easily. But I just, like, for some odd reason, that movie, I put that in the same category as, like, I was a different person back in '94. It is like viewing The Cowboy Way. And The Cowboy Way, there was like 5 or 6 times that I watched that movie. And I'm like, this is pretty good. I like the director for showing us this. Good angles, good set, good laugh. Have a good laugh there here. But Jim Carrey was so kinetic in this movie. I'd never seen anything like it before when I was 19. I'd never seen a guy that could twist his face into a jigsaw puzzle. That was pretty cool. And so I
Well, one of
half
the
the movie was
things,
that.
yeah, one of the things I thought was, to me, reading about it, I was looking up, Jim Carrey's work that he did to get the movie to be made. Okay,
Mhm.
because he really wanted to be able to get to be in movies instead of just television. And I didn't even know this stuff until I was getting ready the last couple of weeks to read about stuff to get ready for this review. And when I found out that he's the one that recruited Dan Marino to be in the movie, he took Dan Marino to lunch, and he was doing stuff to the customers, the other people in the restaurant stuff. He was acting like Ace Ventura, in the movie,
Mhm.
and harassing customers and stuff. And Dan Marino said, "Yeah, I'll be in the movie." So he got Dan Marino to be in the movie, and I think he helped get a few others, like
Out Dan Marino.
no, I mean they would just use some other football player.
Yeah, hold on. Brett Favre did really good with Something About Mary. We could have had this movie with Brett Favre. Not it wouldn't have had the same punch.
But then it wouldn't be the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the Dolphins. It wouldn't
But
have been
that's
in
another
Miami.
thing that I liked about it too, was the fact that he wore, big shirts that looked like something a tourist would wear, to all the different stuff that he was doing. And his car, the way he was driving it,
I vaguely remember getting
out
dressed funny
windshield.
as a kid.
I love
Like I didn't have those weird ass popular, but I did have like button down shirts that.
Well, see, I was
I
wearing
cringe
this
at
because
now.
I wanted to dress,
Now that I can dress myself.
dressed like Courtney Cox to a degree, but I didn't have a jacket the color that she had when she was wearing a suit jacket. Watching him eat those sunflower seeds and spit his stuff, he just chewing them all up and spitting them on the table. And then she said, "Can I get you an ashtray?" And he goes, "No, thanks. I don't smoke. That's a disgusting habit." And he smiles, and he's got all those things stuck in his teeth. I was just laughing. I mean, it was great. It was funny. And then the whole scene where he goes to see Tone Loc, and he turns around and he's flapping his pants with his hands like he's making his ass talk, and he was saying stuff like, "You have any Bianca, Bianca, the spray, or do you have a breath mint?" So
But not
yeah, it was just funny. I was laughing a lot. It just was so funny. I just loved it. I thought it was really, really, really good. And it brought back so many memories from the first time I watched it. So I just liked it a lot. I'm sorry, Bruce, you didn't enjoy it as much.
It was a resurgence of slapstick comedy. Like back in the day, it was the Three Stooges. Before that was like
Mm-hmm.
an upstick. There was that would come out and then there was the whole action and fantasy and stick stuff of the 80s. It was all over the top, wild Coke money budgets.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, here's the 90s. What do we got? Long films with like dudes with ponytails and trench coats. And depending on persuasion, you had like 9mm revolvers. If it was like, triads or yakuza,
Mm-hmm.
and then stuff going on. And so to see some slapstick comedy, physical comedy, that was.
Mm-hmm.
You bring up that, and I'm just thinking like how much I'd want to sit with Janet and watch Hard Boiled or A Better Tomorrow 1 and 2 with her.
I haven't seen that.
God, that would be.
Oh
awesome.
my fucking God, she would have the same fucking problem that I had in the 90s. Like we had just endured the 80s machismo action film. And when I saw those, like that redefined everything for me. Like I didn't even want to watch Chuck Norris anymore. And I hate to say that. I love Chuck Norris. I think he's a fucking icon, but Who?
Joe Pesci.
Beat,
Oh,
no, Beat Takeshi,
who's
Yes.
that?
the actor, director, comedian, and then he did a bunch of yakuza, and his catalog of movies are either extremely violent or realistic,
Fun.
and then he's got his old gig of like hilarious comedy. So like, see two sides of the same coin in the extreme. Katana or Beat Pesci, depending on what movie he's doing, because like he does his serious stuff and then he does his comedies.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
But like this, a couple of things to me that really.
John Woo films would be
John introducing Janet to
Good
John
mix,
Woo
too.
films would be probably enough for her to kind of like go get that wide-eyed look. You know what I mean?
Like, holy shit, what are you doing?
Mhm.
they
that
filmed
thing?
this. They wait. Stuntmen practice dying to do this on camera. Okay. And I hate to say that. Like I
Yeah,
would,
safety. Who the hell needs safety? So much overseas.
and I want to,
Oh, Australia,
yeah.
Hollywood will.
Comic Relief Crusader, we try to get
Require-
that out of her too.
Thank you. I smile a lot when I'm on your show.
I try to make sure we get that out of you a lot.
I do. I've cried a lot too, though. So, but not as much as I've smiled. I don't think. So I get it. I can't help it. I dive in head first when I watch movies. I'm one of those people. But one of the things that I really enjoyed too was the whole just the way that Jim Carrey reacts to everything. It was believable and it was childlike. Maybe that's why I'm enveloped by this character of Ace Ventura. You know, like the part when he was there talking through his ass, okay, and Finkel comes in, or Einhorn comes in there, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "I'm just, trying to find out stuff." And she says, "When we know something, we'll let you know." And then she said, "Do you want me to make your life a living hell?" And he goes, "Well, I'm not ready for a relationship right now, Lois." I just thought shit like that was freaking genius. I mean, he was just comedy gold. It was so funny. And I think young people would still laugh at stuff like that. And then he said, "What is your number still 911?" Well, all righty then, whatever. I just thought it was fucking funny. I can't help it. I just laughed, and I've laughed every single time I've seen this movie. Not as much, not as till I cried, but I still laugh. I still giggle. It's just a giddy. It makes me feel giddy. I just feel. It just makes me laugh. And this movie is so well done. The comedy part of it is so well done. The characters are believable, even though it's an unbelievable movie. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like the whole scene when he's out on the back deck or the patio.
It's almost like a living cartoon.
After Predactor had died, he had fell to his death, and everybody thought he committed suicide. And when Ace Ventura goes out there and he's just wandering around, but he did put a glove on. Okay. He had a glove on and he was looking and he was investigating, and you could see all the gears going on in his head. And then he goes to leave after Einhorn, chastised him basically. And then he goes, "Well, one more thing," or whatever. Then he goes out on the thing and he opens and closes the door going, "Oh," like that. And that's when you could see Einhorn realize he figured it out, that he knew that he was screaming inside the apartment and then thrown over the balcony. So, he really was a genius. And he said, "I'm so tired of being right." I just, this little things like that just made you love his character and you were rooting for him.
I like
at least
Tom
I
Logan in
was.
this movie.
What?
I really like Tom Logan in this movie.
Officer Funky Cold Medina.
Yeah, Tone Loc was kick ass too, and he's a good actor.
Tom Loc is awesome.
This movie is kind of like if you gave a 15-year-old kid a stack of Chaucer's tales to read and decipher, and the kid didn't have like all of the ability to interpret what he had just gone through.
Who the hell's this? Let's put in.
So like you get all these like events where Jim Carrey goes to this location and to this location, to this location and this location, and these things are said and shown to the camera or given to the reader of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And you get that, you do get that, but the writer of the script did not understand the task that was really being given to illustrate to the viewer like how he pieced it together. It just felt like these things were in the script and they had no clue about detective work. They just didn't. And I don't even want to sound like a fucking a graybeard here, but Jim Butcher does a better job of detective work with his Dresden Files series of books than what Ace Ventura did. And I hate to say that because I don't want to sound like Jim Butcher's high art in any mind.
Well, Ace Ventura wasn't a real detective. He was, but it was for animals. Okay.
He was a pet detective.
Yeah, he was a pet detective. He tried to find out where they went, where they left tracks or who took them. Just like his whole schmeal to dress up as a UPS delivery man.
This ain't
stick a
Law and
stuffed
Order
dog in his shirt
or whatever,
and go to the door and steal the dog because he knew the dog would come to the door. Or at least he hoped it did. And when he did, he was talking to it. Oh, Poopy, what do what? Baby talked to the dog, and he was able to take the dog, stick it up his shirt, and walk out. I mean, I just thought that's smart. He was able to outmaneuver the guy that took the dog. And then when he couldn't get that white pigeon at the end or dove or whatever it was, and he got in the fight with the eagle. Was that with the eagle mascot? It was just believable and funny. I just thought it was great. I just loved him. I thought to me, this is still my favorite movie by Jim Carrey.
I need to see Liar Liar because
you haven't seen it yet. That's right.
I want to know if Liar Liar is in that same vein of like, if you would have seen this when you were 22, you would have loved it, Bruce. But now here you are, a 50-year-old man, and bought humbug in any comedy. Well, just to let you know, I watched fucking Caddyshack earlier this week. And I love good comedy, but Caddyshack is far from good comedy. Caddyshack is peak slob comedy, and that's one of my favorite films of all time.
Yeah, I love Caddyshack.
I just can't believe
FDR American Badass.
FDR American Badass is a movie. Like, I know I'm going to watch that again here within the next 3 to 4 weeks. That's such a terrible film, but it's my schlock. That's the schlock. Like if
comedy, such a complicated onion layers. You got your schlock, high comedy. You got your highbrow comedy. There's the physical comedy. Like at its heart, a mixture of stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
Of older slapstick, like when I was mentioning the Pink Panther, Stooges. Yeah, it's not reinventing the wheel, but it's on the fenders and making a little bit more hip. So 30 plus years ago, this was the shit.
Yeah, but you got to realize too, this had everything in it. It had action, it had romance, it had comedy, it had sports. Mm-hmm.
Unlike a lot of movies today that are stifled because of ideology, politics, whatever the current is suppressing the creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Creativity.
Mm-hmm. It had tons of creativity.
high-end liquor. No, this was like your MD-20. It'll get you messed up, but it won't break the bank. It's good stuff. I'm not knocking it.
Yeah, it had a lot of real animals in it. So like the part where he's going back to his apartment with the pet food bag, right? And he's trying to sneak past his landlord, and that guy that played the landlord, I recognized him too. I don't know what, from a TV show or something, but when he comes up behind him and he says Ventura, and he goes, "Yes, Satan." Then the guy, he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were someone else." I just think little shit like that is what made this movie a classic to me.
Yeah,
it's funny as shit. I mean, it's so
we need
funny.
more of that.
I just love it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, this is also I cannot stand animal movies.
Oh, I love animal. I love this movie.
Of a few, I grew up watching Benji, the Black.
I used to watch Here's Boomer.
Most of the kitty dog films, like, I'm not into that. Don't get me wrong, I love animals. I tolerate the ones that I got. Poop in front of my room. That's neither here nor there.
Now, see, to me,
animals.
This movie was a step way up.
This movie could be a freaking nightmare. Yeah, like you're basically at the whim of the trainers, personalities of the animals. Like, this are fucked to make, but they did it, and it worked.
The love scene.
Yeah, the little monkey, the bird that was eating bird seeds out of his belly. That little rat dog that he basically his secretary was freaking awesome. But
the animal love scene, or the scene where they're having sex, him and Courtney Cox, they had all the animals chained to the floor so they couldn't move. Basically made them stay there. And except for the squirrel. Now, Courtney Cox did say that the squirrel was running all around and jumping on the bed and, doing all kinds of stuff, that she didn't really like that. And one of the parrots kept getting up under the covers on one of the things I was talking about. But the people they had running, taking care of the animals, I thought they did a good job. The two little penguins that came out of the refrigerator, and him doing the little key 3 times. Trying to open the door to kind of give him a signal to hide. It's just, to me, I thought that was comic genius. I just thought it hit all the marks. There was something in it that somebody would laugh at something in the movie. I don't care who you were, old, young, you would laugh at something. There was something in there to make you laugh and to cheer. And all the men all understood everything that came to the kick heard around the world, and just little things like that about the football stuff. Even I thought it was funny. Like when he was wearing the tutu and he was doing the fast forward where he's running in slow-mo like this towards the doctor, acting like he was acting out some play that I had no idea what it was, but I was laughing my butt off, and I had no idea what football plays were. And then he crashes into the doctor's shoulder, and how them two didn't just die laughing. That's good acting. The doctor, you could tell he cracked up a few times, but and then did the rewind, and he did the whole thing backwards. That's genius. I've never seen another actor do anything like that. A comic. He's just really good at what he does. At least he was when he was young, younger. But I just thought he was great until his head got so big that he couldn't get through the door anymore. But it happens to lots of actors, not just comedians. But I thought it was great. I just thought it was so funny. I would love to be able to get online and look up the script, that from the original script and then the rewrite into what they ended up with Ace Ventura. I would love to see the changes they made and everything in the script. And the director, even though that was his first movie, he'd only done a short, and they were impressed. The person that had the say in the pull at this company, this production company, had enough pull to take this young man who'd only done a short movie. That's all he'd ever done. And give him this movie, and it made over $100,000. I mean, $100 million. So they definitely made their money back and then some. And it made Jim Carrey a star. And a lot of other people were kind of afraid to be in the movie, thinking it might be a flop, but it wasn't. People went and they needed a laugh, and they got one.
Well, this movie was made for $15 million in '94, and they turned it into $100 million plus comedy. Comedies don't make money at the theaters, okay, kids? They make money at the rental market. They don't make money on initial release. It's very rare to have a comedy go out there and just slaughter the box office. You don't have that.
That's what I said. Look what it had in it. It had sports. It had romance. It had action. It had comedy. It just had a little bit of everything in it, and people loved it. People thought it was great, and I think a lot of people went to see it more than one time. I think that's one reason why this movie was so successful.
That might be. That's very possible. I'm very impressed with how this movie made out. And looking back on the time frame of everything that was going on, this movie's just slaughtered. It really did.
Yeah, can you tell me what other movies were out around the same time that competed against Ventura? Because I don't know. I just think that they crossed their fingers, when they did it, thinking it might make some money. Okay, I don't think they knew that what was gonna happen. That it became a huge overnight sensation, basically, once everybody saw it. I don't think they expected that at all, because a lot of the things that I read when I was researching, it said that a lot of people were apprehensive. They said, this is either going to make or break our career. That's for Jim Carrey, and I think it was the director that said that to each other. Well, here we go. Let's see what happens.
Either it's going to be embraced or people will hate it. There's no middle ground.
Yeah, and that's what they felt, and it wasn't. It was a huge, sensation at the box office, because it was unlike anything anyone's ever seen. Just like you said, when they saw Jim Carrey being able to do different voices and do different facial expressions and wear different disguises, and stuff like that, and it was just funny. Like when he was sitting there petting the dog and he was being mean to her character about he's mad because he couldn't find that ring. And the whole scene, though, the one where he's running next to the guy that's working out, the football player, and he's in great shape, and he can't keep up with him, he ends up falling down. Then he goes back and he's trying to keep up with him again. He can't do it. The next time he just comes running and he's got a bottle of chloroform and a rag. It was just fucking funny. I mean, I don't know how anybody could not think that was funny and watch that. When he took that guy down, and he's flopping around his arms, and he falls to the ground, and he looks, and it's not the right ring. And then he goes into the men's bathroom on the field or whatever, on the Dolphins team, and the guy looked familiar. I don't know who he was, but he goes up to the guy and he pops him with a towel, pa-chow, like that, and he turns around. And he goes to the mirror and he's counting how many stones were in there. I just thought it was so funny. How could someone not think that shit's funny? And it was a man's movie. Every single guy in there all got grossed out when they realized they were kissing a man. I mean, every one of them was going gagging themselves to try to brush their teeth. And then he had the plunger on his face, and it was just, I don't know. I just loved it. I'd watch it again, and I'd probably still laugh through it, because I just thought it was great.
Well,
thank you very much for letting me see it again.
This movie came out the same week as I'll Do Anything, My Father the Hero, Naked, and Romeo is Bleeding. And also there was a re-release of no, that was next week. This had The Gunman as well come out. But it came out, there's 5 movies released on this weekend. And Ace Ventura knocked it dead. And then over the course of the year, they made like $115 million with this movie, with a little bitty guy from fucking some variety show. He was a kind of out of place stand-up comic that did a lot of physical comedy. And he ended up with $15 million for a budget, and he made over $100 million for a comedy. I'm just trying to help you with this. And they came out February 4th. Okay, might as well have been a January release. Nobody who goes to theaters in February. Okay. No.
Not very many, not in the winter. That's why they always have them summer blockbusters. That's what they always call it.
The next week you had The Getaway, Blank Check, the re-release of Black Cauldron, and My Girl Part 2, which did not do as well as the first. Along with State of Emergency came out like the day after that on the 12th of February with Blue Chips. Then on the weekend of the 18th, you had On Deadly Ground.
I'm trying to remember what.
There wasn't a whole lot of comedies in '94. You have one of the greatest bad movies of all time, On Deadly Ground,
Flintstone,
with Steven Seagal and Michael Caine. We have to review that. That's what we got. Yeah, it's an actual Steven Seagal when he was thin movie. But there's not a whole lot.
It was right before the one that killed.
What?
Fire Down, the last one.
Fire Down Below was the
Fire Down Below was the last movie.
Fire Down Below, the one where the woman jumps out of the cake in the submarine?
No, that's Under Siege.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to admit that I know these, but I do.
I saw that one. I thought it wasn't too bad a movie.
Hey, Under Siege was
Under Siege was okay. Under Siege 2 is not a good movie.
But
those Bill Hibben knives, man, got sold.
Yeah.
Big time.
Let's see.
Maybe not for cooking dinner, but
yeah.
Well, I wanted to say one thing to the audience that's watching, because I don't think I said it live. I thought I said it backstage when we were all talking. The scene where you see the little dog, get up on the table and lay on the it looks like the National Enquirer, but I don't remember what they had name on it. And you see the dog's hair lay over the picture of Finkel, right? And you saw that a couple times throughout the movie when he was trying, who's this guy? You know, because he wants to see if he has a ring. And it was Sean Young with a wig on and a mustache. That was really her in that
with a wig and a 80s porn.
Yeah, a porn stash, whatever. But it really was her. She really wanted to play this character well. And if I had to give anyone in this movie an award, it would be her. Because to me, she was the best actor in this movie. She was very believable at playing a hot, sexy boss. And as a guy, because as soon as we find out and he's chewing that giant wad of gum, trying to get past, your gun is digging into my hip. It gets all sick and stuff. I just thought it was great. He did a really good job of acting like he was just so grossed out, and he's in the shower naked, and he's crying. It was just so funny. I was just laughing so hard because I could see every one of you guys. If you guys went to a bar and you guys were having a party and some really hot chick came up and was hitting on all of you and making out and whatever, and then she left, okay, and all of you are going, damn, we should have hooked up with that or whatever. And then you find out a few days later that it was a man, and how you lucked out not going home with that guy, okay, that looked hot. Because I told you, some of those people have spent so much money. You go to Instagram and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of used to be men.
The ones in my hometown.
The men that look like models. I mean,
at Denny's.
If I had the money, I could be great. I could have some ribs removed and have a real hourglass figure without having to wear one of those, things that bustiers to hold me all where it's pushing it where it's supposed to be. These people pay money and they can just instantly have, a great female look, and they have that exotic look, and you guys would be duped. And you wouldn't tell anyone. Shit, I wouldn't tell nobody if I didn't know. But the thing is, you guys would be just like that, going, oh my God, I made out with that. And you'd be brushing, like he's squeezing that whole tube of toothpaste in his mouth. And I mean, to me, the way he reacted when he realized Finkel is Einhorn and Einhorn is Finkel, that whole scene leading up to that just brought the pressure up, and he just explodes in the bathroom. He's throwing up. He's doing all the things that I think my guy friends would all do, trying to get that off, and get past that. So I just thought it was great. I thought Sean Young did an excellent job portraying a hot, sexy boss that was pushy, didn't take no shit, but she was hot, and all the guys wanted to make out with her. And at the end, when they find it was a man, they all start spitting and gagging.
Young was hot as Johnny, and 10 years later, I'm not gonna lie, she was hot as Einhorn.
Yeah, she was hot.
She was hot.
Good looking. She was
I'm
very.
saying
She's
that
a good
I would
actress.
do it right.
Because when she got out of the car and walked into the
And-
dock and she had her hands, she looked like she was walking kind of like she could be a man. She did a good job.
Round about that
Sorry, I
time,
didn't mean.
I remember making the joke because it was like 2 or 3 years earlier. A friend, his mom worked for a business, and so she would wear the business attire, the blouse, the blazer, and everybody knew she was hot, but we didn't say anything to her because we're there playing Nintendo or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was hot in Blade Runner.
I got the same feels when I saw that. A couple of years later, I was just like, yeah.
I still like her in No Way Out. I'm a Sean Young fan. I'm not gonna lie. And
I think she still looks great. I don't know how old she is, but she looks really good.
She's post 60, but she's definitely not got the same youthful exuberance that other 60 somethings I know have. She's not in she's not in Sophia Loren category. Okay?
Well, she probably doesn't exercise as much. I mean, because she did look a little heavier, just like what was the other woman that everybody thought was in Romancing the Stone? That everybody thought she was just gorgeous. The actress that was in Romancing the Stone. Trying to remember what her name was.
Yeah.
She was in the Top Gun movie, the first Top Gun.
Talking about Kelly McGillis.
Yeah, is it Kelly McGillis or the other one? What was the one in Romancing the Stone? Is that
That's
the same one?
Kathleen Turner.
Okay, Kathleen Turner's the same way. All the guys were drooling over her. And I always told guys, if you go for a woman that has an hourglass figure when she's a teenager, okay, when she's 50, she's going to be round. Everyone, and they're usually short. So if you like short, buxom women, you're going to have a round woman when she's older. It's just naturally what's going to happen. If you get an athletic girl, like I was like Chrissy McNichol build when I was in high school, and now I'm definitely not. My mom kept telling me, don't worry about it. One day they'll grow. and I did, I did grow, but I work out too. I have to work hard at trying to keep from gaining weight, like everyone does, because as you get older, you're not as active, so you're going to start gaining weight. That's just something that happens, and you have to work out more as you get older than you did when you were young, because when you were young, you had a fast metabolism.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's easy to be hot when you're young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anybody can if you had the money too.
Yep.
All that money, lip injections, you walk around with those giant, huge lips like duck lips, whatever.
Yeah, no.
Well, a lot of
that shit scares me.
It's funny because I've had a lot of my guy friends, and I'll go to a party and I'll see them with this girl, and she just looks like plastic. She just doesn't look real. She's had so much surgery done, and and they lay down by the pool, and their boobs still lay there. They're still mountains. Yeah. And they don't fall to the side a little. I'm like, yeah, those are fake. How can you tell? I'm like, well, common sense.
Just like boobies.
I
just like boobs. I don't care if they're fake or real.
Like brick.
I don't care. I don't. You can have the hardest knots in the world, and I will still want to suck on them.
But when it pokes you in the eye and put your eye out, then you'll say, "Damn, I wish you'd had some."
What are you doing, putting a goddamn nipple in your eye? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I want to slap people in the back of the head when they fucking start like doing stupid human tricks, like, "Hey, watch me gouge my eyes out."
Well, you mean Bruce? You never do brewskis?
I never do what?
Brewskis.
Motorboats? Fuck yeah.
Okay, well, that's how you can get poked in the eye if they're not real.
Okay, every woman I know's got pancake titties.
Oh.
Well. They got pancake nipples. They're huge. You know where you're going from boob to nipple. There's a huge difference from
If your face is
apricot
smothered in
to
between
brown.
them and you're jiggling them around, you can get poked in the eye. Believe me, if you do it in the right.
Okay.
You've missed out, buddy.
Apparently, I need to get KO'd by a
And if
titty.
she's on
What is
top,
it? The
if she's on
perfect
top,
dress
more likely
in a
you're going to get
champagne
poked in
glass.
the eye.
If you were
Especially
asked
if
the
it's
people
cold.
of the Bronx, it would
Okay, so now I have a new achievement that I need to unlock. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
yes. Safety first. Bones got it right.
Oh, that's right. Sean Young was in Dune.
Yes, you didn't. Or you don't. We
Yeah,
just said
I
that
just it
4
just
minutes
clicked
ago.
when I saw it in the chat. I was talking about her being in Blade Runner.
She's in Dune, Blade Runner, No Way Out. This movie.
I haven't seen No Way Out. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I am.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's a Kevin Costner film. It's fucking awesome.
Well, okay. If we watch that one, you have to put this other one by Kevin Costner on the list. Waterworld. I actually like that.
Hopper, of course, I'll put that on the list.
I thought it was good. I liked it.
Series of it. I would love to have them flesh out and explore that world.
I would love. I would fucking dig that so
Dennis
hard.
Hopper was awesome in it. But see a series of that.
About people like him, that grew gills and webbed fingers and stuff.
The mer people, yeah, hell yeah, throwing some muties.
Hi, Brett. Nice to see you. Thank you for stopping in. But yeah, I think any movies that have mutants in them. What was that one movie? They had that one. It was a guy and he fell in love with a human woman, but he wasn't human. He was like a swamp creature.
What was it?
Talking about Swamp Thing?
No, he was like a lizard
water
dog man, and it was a bunch of guys.
The Way of Water.
He was basically the merman from
the Way of Water.
He fell in love.
I don't know.
The Shape of Water.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up real quick because I can't remember.
The Shape of Water. That's
The Shape of Water.
Something with water and a fish.
Let me.
He played the gill man, and then the gal was actually a gill woman, but she looked normal, and they were doing sign language and shit.
He was feeding them eggs and stuff in the laboratory. Was that it?
I think so.
Yeah, and she was a cleaner or a maid or something. Yeah, that's it. Okay, it just popped up. Yeah, the guy, the Doug Jones, I've met him a few times. He's really good, very talented.
He is a prolific actor.
Yes, he's very good.
Like anything in a suit.
He can wear any costume and actually act
And then
in
what
it.
was the Masters of Horror? He actually played like kind of really in a suit, so it was kind of cool to see him, but as a monster instead of being covered in a suit. And you're like, oh, dude.
Yeah, and he's really skinny. I mean, he almost he doesn't look very healthy.
Yeah, he's super thin.
Except
well,
he has a good
for the type of work
tone.
they do, because they got to.
Yeah, but he is a good actor. I mean, it's really hard to act with makeup on covering your face. You have to have a good expression.
That sounds really weird coming out of my mouth. And he's a mime, but that mimery, that French clown shit that he does is extremely well suited to his profession.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of movies. He's been in so many things. He was in that movie with the three sister witches, and he played the dead guy that they brought up out of the grave, and his mouth was sewed shut. I can't remember. Yeah, Hocus Pocus. He was in that. Oh, he's been in so much stuff.
So, for those of you that are wanting to know, what are we doing next week? Before we do that, if you have seen Ace Ventura before, go ahead, put your rating in the chat. Janet will read it, and I will star it. That way, Janet sees it.
Yeah, thanks.
Secondly, for the 19th of January, we are watching the 1942 release of Cat People, starring Simone Simon, Kent Smith, Tom Conway, Jane Randolph, Jack Holt, directed by Jacques Tourneur, and written by DeWitt Bodine.
Never seen it.
Neither have I. And this is a 1942 movie.
I've seen most of the Cat People movies,
Mhm.
and I like them all. This is like technically.
This is the
I don't think
first.
there's one that was in the 30s. This is because I've been trying
This is the first. Several horror films
like look at.
in the 50s. Several movies were influenced by this, and there was a sequel called Curse of the Cat People in 1944. Then they did a remake by Paul Schrader, and that's the 82 version that originally I wanted to watch because it's got Natasha Kinski.
I like that.
Natasha Kinski's Klaus Kinski's daughter. I'll watch anything that she's in. She's just one of the most beautiful women ever.
Totally do a two-fer.
That's Paul Schrader's. That film is very well known. I mean, it's a B movie, and it's still in the Library of Congress for preservation in the National Film Registry. Okay, the 82 version. So we got to watch this movie.
Yeah, that was the first one that I saw as a kid.
And
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to
The
it.
original.
It's in black and white.
Yep.
Oh, okay. See, that's cool. I really like nostalgic movies, so I'm excited about seeing it.
And this movie, like, for those of you that want to know more, if you'd like to know more, would you like to know more? I've got the link here in the chat if you want to watch this and be part of the chat next week. Right there. Free link, thearchive.org. Cat People 1942 restored.
Is this the are you is that the link to watch it with us at Discord, or is this for them to watch it themselves?
It's for them to watch it themselves.
Okay. Well, if you guys want to watch it with us in Discord, you send me a DM on X or in my Discord, and I will make sure I send you an invite, because it's a lot of fun to sit with other people and watch it. Because last week we watched, what was it, Go?
Nope. Last week we watched FDR, American Dad.
FDR, yeah. I had my mic off, basically, really, but I listened to Bruce, and he laughed a lot. It made me laugh because he was enjoying it so much. It is fun to enjoy movies with your friends. I enjoy that.
It was retarded fun.
Yeah, I wanted to go see Nosferatu, but I'm snowed in right now, so hopefully by tomorrow the roads in my driveway will be pretty cleared off. Because man, I got like over a foot of snow. There's a lot of snow out there.
He says he's watched the 1970s movie.
Yeah, I recommend.
Great movie. Great movie.
That was great. The European was pretty good. I think they chopped it a little. The mini, both are good. Way better than what came 2024. I wanted to like that one, but they stuff just to make it fit the 2-hour mark.
Well, there's one.
I didn't argue about the race swapping or any of that. It was.
I was going to say, Brett put his rating in the chat. He says both Ace Ventura movies are a 11 out of 10.
Thank you, Brett.
Appreciate
Bone
that.
followed it up.
The what?
Bone.
Oh, Bone, a 9 out of 10. Yeah, that's what I'm going to give it too. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Because I think it was really good.
I can't do the emojis because I'm not logged into YouTube.
And to me, I don't think it's really. I don't think age has hurt this movie. I still think it's just as funny. The sad truth is, though, that because of the indoctrination of in the last 20 years of being forced to try to convert and not make fun of anyone.
Yeah.
Unless the only people right now, as of right today in Hollywood, the only people you're allowed to make fun of is single or white men that are straight. That's it. That's the only ones. No one else can be made fun of. And that has ruined the movie industry. It really has. I mean, I don't enjoy movies hardly at all, especially new ones. That's why I'm so excited about going to see a movie when I hear from my friends it was really good. You know, like when The Boys came out, the TV show, The Boys, I was surprised how good it was. I loved it. And same thing with Yellowstone. I thought Yellowstone was really good. I don't mind if there's a character, because there has been characters in comic books that are gay or lesbian or bisexual or trans. They're even in comic books, and they have been since I was a kid reading them. Okay, I didn't know exactly what it meant, but I knew that they were gay, and my mom told me what that meant. I was like, oh, okay, but it didn't cram it down my throat. You know, they didn't try to make me have to accept everything about somebody. You know, if I go to a restaurant and I look over and I see a man and a woman making out and they're sitting on each other and groping each other and grunting and shit, I'm not going to want to see that in a restaurant, especially when it's other kids and stuff around, any more than I want to see two guys making out or two women. It's all not appropriate. So, you know, it just, I think it's this bullshit that we're supposed to accept a parade going down the street with men's genitals hanging out and pretending to fornicate each other and stuff like that with kids in the street holding ice cream cones. And I lived in New Orleans, and you didn't see that shit. People did have their boobs out, but you just didn't see people groping and grabbing each other in the parade. It just wasn't acceptable. Not even
wasn't part of the fucking show.
So, it's just, to me, that's what I hate.
I remember as a kid pushing my brother in a stroller down during parade, and a dude dressed in nothing more than a bonnet and a diaper. And I'm thinking, like, what makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
And my stepdad's like, come on, we're going home to the park. Yeah, so, like, in the last freaking 40, it's changed a lot, but it hasn't, if you think about it.
Yeah.
So depending on the state that you live in, and how same-sex gender issue is,
mm-hmm.
You know, your mileage may vary. This movie wasn't a gulag re-educate forcing you to accept one view. It's using mental illness as a joke, which I think is appropriate because it's a serious topic, and if you take everything too serious, you get depressed and things get miserable, and then people get irritable and do irrational things, your problems, as a coping mechanism, as a way to express yourself and to share your shared concern or sympathies towards somebody. You know, like, if you can't laugh about it, then you can't really be offensive. Something is going to set you off. So, you know, these movies, they poke fun at everything. Comedy is one of those bridges. Get along and settle our differences for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Take a moment to decompress from the BS of life. Yeah, that's my TED Talk there. I'm done.
Well, the thing is that it used to be that way, where we could laugh together. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. What was this? This was like, census said it was like 9 out of 10, 70%.
Yeah.
It stays at 70. It might even be like 75%.
This is
to me now
6.9 according to
because
IMDb.
I'm noticing things. So, like, yeah, he's 75 out of 100. Or if you want to use, yeah, with that.
Or hemorrhoids.
This is a nostalgia. Yeah, hemorrhoidal cream going.
Frisco's,
So,
Janet.
yeah, 75%.
Oh yeah, 8 out of 10.
It was
Yeah,
good.
I agree. I'm up either 8 or 9. That's how high I really still loved it. I remember I did see it more than once at the movie theater. I mean, it was at the Dollar Theater, but I spent money on popcorn and supported my theater. But the thing is that I loved it. I thought it was really good, and the friends that I went with, we all laughed. And when Bruce finally said we could watch it again, I was real excited about it because I hadn't seen it in years, many years, and I laughed. I laughed again watching it. Now I wasn't belly laughing and crying like I did the first time I saw it, but I still laughed, and it made me giddy. It took me back to a time where movies were made to entertain, and they just don't really make that many. There's very few movies made anymore to actually entertain you instead of trying to throttle you into believing whatever it is that they're trying to push on you. And I can't wait till we get out of that and we get back to just entertainment.
Makes
Mm-hmm.
Six Nations, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just saw a rating in the chat, which hadn't been aired
That's okay.
yet.
I appreciate it.
That's cool. No worries.
But the thing is,
I've been
it's a
trying to
good
mess
movie.
around.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I'm fucking with
Something
the white
about
dragon
streaming
now.
and blue.
I'm trying to get the white on this dragon to pop, and that's going to be today's endeavor. I as much as you've heard everybody here and myself give our various opinions, you might
Mhm.
feel I don't like this movie. That's not quite the case. This movie came out at a time when I was separating myself from my family unit and getting a not separating, but I was in the Navy, and so I was turning into an adult, and I was away from home for the first big time,
Mm-hmm.
and I was really just kind of enjoying like just seeing somebody on film pantomime and be so kinetic, which that you can't deny what Jim Carrey is on camera, especially with this film. More importantly, there's some aspects about the movie that I just will never, even if I absolutely hate the movie, I try to look at everything involved and how did they make this abortion? And that's definitely not what this movie is. This movie is a fine piece. It's a good time capsule of what 1994 was like, because this movie, like, if it was made today, like, you'd have to go to Tone Loc and like give him a peace offering. My white folk friends are willing to give you this, a black man, which we have repressed for so many years. Tone Loc in 2024 would be like, what the fuck, bro? But the 2024 crowd would be like, oh my God, look, he's giving peace a chance. And fuck those people, okay? Because they're faggots. So what I'm going to say is that when I watch this movie, I'm looking at Noble Willingham giving it his all as Riddle. I'm looking at Udo Kier, who does a great job as the fucking camp. Frank Adonis is in this movie. I got John Capodice, which is one of the worst versions of Italian American actors out there, because boy, did he turn into a fat, lazy fuck as time went on. And I love John Capodice. Yeah, I do. You've got Alice Drummond as Mrs. Finkel.
Yeah.
Who's there out of her gourd, not realizing her son's not coming home.
Yeah.
And then you've got Bill Zuckert as Mr. Finkel trying to explain that to fucking Ace Ventura, and it's one of the best parts of the entire film. It's almost the most humanizing part of the movie.
Yeah, it is very humanizing.
And then at the beginning of the movie, I get to see one of my fucking heroes as a kid, Randall Tex Cobb. That guy was a kickboxer, and he won like 9 knockouts before he realized the money's in boxing. Go to boxing, kid. And in boxing, they fucking build him as a man with a cast iron jaw, and he does have a cast iron jaw. He was an amazing boxer. And then he became an actor. He's in one of my favorite movies of '89, Blind Fury, which has got Rutger Hauer, God bless you,
Yes.
sir, and he plays Slag in Blind Fury. He's the main antagonist for the first like 6 minutes of the movie, as Jim Carrey's breaking all the shit in the package for UPS, and then he steals the dog. That dog, by the way, I don't know what breed it is, but that dog looks a lot like all the accounts of Rags. Anybody here that knows about the World War II war dog Rags? I love that story. That story,
Yep.
one of these days, we're going to do that story here, and we're going to try to do it proper, because that is a movie that should be made, and nobody, even Disney, could come out of its fucking slump if it made a good Rags the War Dog movie. Where the fuck is the goddamn script writers of that want to make good movies? Because you've got the best fucking animal story right there. It was a real story. Just take the fucking historical account and take it and put it on film. It's not difficult.
Mhm.
And they're fucking up everything in Hollywood. And I hate to say this, because there's good people that lost property there, but there's a lot of people in Hollywood and in California that voted for the bullshit that happened. You made your bed, lay in it. It's not like North Carolina, where those people were sitting there on the mountaintop saying, "I can't wait for this place to flood. Oh, we're gonna fuck over our entire EMS." They never said that. That shit was completely different than what happened to Hollywood. But anyway, Hurricane Helene is not the fires of California.
Mhm.
Anyway, now that I've said all that, and I've got my piece out about who I loved in this movie, I just read the actors' names that I absolutely fucking treasured.
Mhm.
I've got to say that this movie does not hit me the same way that it did in '94. And I'm looking fucking so hard to where we can make movies where we have a wonderful comedy that takes a shitty situation of a fucked up guy trying to get revenge, and he goes completely transgender with a tuck job, a bad tuck job at that. And we can fucking point and laugh, because nothing would make me happier than seeing a fucking transgender comedy like what we have today with Ace Ventura in 1994. God bless you, Jim Carrey, for writing this movie and making this movie the way he did. Because when I was watching it, the only times I really laughed was when the fucking transgender shit came out. And I'm just so fucking tired of transgenders being a sacred fucking cow. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Fuck
after
you,
we
trans
watched
bitches.
Lady Ballers together, remember we went through this
Yeah.
whole spiel.
Lady Ballers is great.
It was.
And I fucking like sacred cows. If we can't make fun of Muslims, I'm gonna grab the fucking Charlie Hebdo fucking cartoons. We're gonna fucking broadcast that shit 24/7. If I can't make fun of gays, we're gonna drag fucking every fucking good gay joke out, and we're gonna trample it to death and just fucking retread that shit all the fucking time. So I just don't give a shit about sacred cows, and I don't care what sacred cow it is. A comedian that makes fun of Jesus is not daring. It's not daring of you to kick Christianity. Go kick something that nobody wants to fucking kick. Go kick the Muslims, or go kick the Indians and their fucking weird shit. Go kick the Hindus with their fucking belly study. I don't give a fuck. But stop being such fucking milquetoast piles of shit. And there's a reason why I fucking split from mainstream everything. And I'm happy to be my asshole self. I'm happy to look at things from 25, 30 years ago and say, I love you. Because that's where I'm at now. I play Quake more than I play fucking Armored Core 6. And you know what? In 10 years, I'll still be playing Quake 1. I'll still be watching shitty fucking 90s sci-fi that I love. Space Above and Beyond, fucking Babylon 5. I can't wait. I can't wait to rewatch all this stuff because it's so good. I fucking love
Jason of Star Command.
Yeah, Jason of Star Command was okay 70s because they had no budget and they were trying to jump on the Star Wars wagon. Dude, the 80s were peak times. Nobody understands this except for us, who realizes that we can go back to the 80s and have really good comedy. We can watch Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. That's good comedy. We can watch Caddyshack. That's good slob comedy. We can enjoy those things. We can scratch our heads when we watch Weird Science and say, what the fuck is Lisa? Is Lisa a genie? Is she a djinn? How does she grant everything to those boys in that movie? Because everything in that movie she does, it's all based with electricity. And so, like when she gives them a Porsche and Ferrari, later on when they fade out with a little electricity, digital fade out, like it was Star Wars hit by a phaser or something. Everything in that movie.
Quantum physics and string theory, bro.
Say again.
Quantum physics and string theory, bro.
Oh yeah.
It's all.
But this movie, as much as I want to say it's peak 94, it's not peak 94. I like this movie a lot. I'm going to give it a 65 out of 100 because that's still a more favorable rating than like a 51 or a 50. It doesn't have the same punch to me as it did. All the shit that I shouldn't be laughing at, I'm there just chewing popcorn, smiling my ass off. And this movie, they'll never make it unless we completely just decide to smash everything we've done in the last 12 years and say we really fucked up. We're going to redo films and we're going to look at things from a stance of quality and meritocracy.
Yeah, just like Lady Ballers did. It made fun of the shit that we're talking about right now about what's ruining entertainment. And that's what we're going to see more of, I hope, in the future, is them making comedies, making fun of this generation of people, all around us right now.
Stockholders. They're the ones that are buying up the dictating DEI and all that other crap.
Well, I was reading a chat.
Involved.
All right. I was going to say, I was reading a chat. It says, one of the best movies I've ever watched was The Prestige, a superb movie that generally kept you guessing right to the end. We did review that one, and that really was a kick-ass movie. So I'm just going to say, if you want to go back, you can go to Bruce's channel or mine and go down the list and find it, and you can watch the review that we did on that. That was an excellent movie. I think it was a movie I asked to watch too. But it was good. It was very well done. And the acting was phenomenal. It was just a very well-made movie. And it wasn't woke, So there are movies like that have come out in the past. But I'm starting to see a trickle of little movies. That's why I want to see Nosferatu really bad. Did you see it, Six Nations?
Prestige?
Did you
No,
see
a couple of times?
Nosferatu.
If I saw it with you guys,
No,
I want to say that I
Nosferatu.
did.
The new one.
I was brought that a couple nights ago.
Was it good?
I didn't go out on Christmas Day to see it. It was great.
Okay, yeah,
Like,
I want to see it.
It's a biased opinion because I grew up watching horror movies, but original 1922 silent film, very either as is or with the new soundtrack. All of them are good. Typo negative version was really kick-ass. Was also in 1979 Werner Herzog, Klaus Kinski version. That one, another cool one. This new 24 one has aspects the original and the 79 version. You'll see some similarities, but it also what a Nosferatu is, which is a corpse, a vampiric corpse that rises from and usually terrifies its family and brings pestilence. They also hit with old school Dracula, or in this case Count Orlok. He's an old old-timey furs and the almost like Cossack attire. He speaks in Old Dacian. Roscar worked with a opera coach that also taught him like Tibetan throat singing to get the creepy ass intonation of his speech, it's scary. And then the cinematography is awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
So you got all these effects. It's not your Euro trash wearing or Euro trash dinnerware wearing, as they would say in vampires, type of vampire. Now this is like a necromancer who's survived, and he just feeds off of people and brings death and destruction, and it's great. Like, if you like horror, it's up there.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go see it tomorrow, maybe tomorrow night, but I want to see it. It looks really good. And there was another one. It was like a werewolf movie or something. Has it come out, or is it coming out soon?
I think it's coming out soon. I haven't seen it.
It's actually two. There's the Wolfman, and the is the one version where I guess somebody in the family from the family has to go. And there's werewolves. Everybody's got that virus. Everybody's got, like in The Walking infected, and they turn into zombies when they die. Well,
the one I saw
of the earth somehow got infected with leprosy.
Yeah.
So, like, it's supposed to be a blue moon or a pink that can happen like 3 times a month instead of once a month. Minor detail. So, like, the population, there's like 1 billion werewolves. They got this gene, they werewolves. So people at the CDC, or what's the CDC, they lock them up and they try to use like nanotechnology to block the moonlight, getting into the science fiction type stuff. Figure out a way to keep them from turning into werewolves. Obviously, south werewolves are everywhere, and more weapons, but you got to like hose them big time with guns. So werewolf is the more action oriented, and the Wolfman is the family crisis.
Well, they both sound good. I think I'm going to see both of them because I love scary movies.
Like,
that's my favorite.
They're not like technically they are, but I was watching some of the trailers and as good as the other one, and I'm going to be nitpicky with some of the stuff, but I'm probably going to end up watching both of them, and then actual evaluation is on that.
Well, I like sci-fi too.
Yeah, interesting when the country goes to shit and politics has brought everybody down. Yeah. One thing you can get, movies come out and everybody starts feeling better after that. You want to make America strong.
Raise those endorphins.
To quote.
Yeah, I'm going to go see both of them, I think, when they come out.
Werewolves is out on Amazon right now, it looks like.
Oh, it is? So you
I don't know if it's got a main release, cool. If it's a feature release, but it's on Amazon.
Oh, he's giving it, Bones only giving it a 6 out of 10. So I guess I'll have to watch the trailer again just to see.
Howling's awesome. Even the third one.
Yeah, Howling was really good.
Yes.
Phantasm was good. I watched all of the Phantasm movies, and I'm like, the way that this turned out, this was actually really good. Because like Hellraiser and a couple of other movies, like Friday the 13th. There's some that I like, and there's some that I don't like. And then it got really weird, and I was like, oh, that sucks.
You see, Hellraiser, the first one.
Phantasm was a series.
Still.
Yeah, hard to beat that one. That one was like messed up.
Pinhead was freaking kick ass. Scary as shit.
It traumatizes you in a great.
Yeah, he was a good actor too, and his voice was just unforgettable. You can hear it in your nightmares. Yeah, Pumpkinhead was pretty scary
too. Lance Henriksen.
The costumes and stuff. I mean, just really good. Yeah.
That was a good TV show, and it Comes, which that was another favorite of mine. But I was more of the monster of the week than the alien, the fluke man. Mother could love.
Yeah.
Life Force is going to be our 16th of February movie.
Okay.
So, if
I
you've
remember.
Ooh.
Is that the poster that has the eyeball looking down?
on planet Earth, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen it, but I remember seeing
Birds?
that one
Matilda
when
May.
we watched Something of Everything or something. Remember that documentary?
Empire Space Snooki.
And I saw all the movies that came up, and I said, "Oh, there's a bunch of movies on that list that I haven't seen that I want to see." So, and that was one of them. Life Force.
Yeah, that there's a lot of movies I want to see.
I liked that as a kid because
If you check your Discord, Janet, I shared you the list.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. Let me see.
the space vampires, creepy, zombies. Because anyone bit.
Bone, is that the
Got
Hellraiser
resurrected.
movie that had the female Pinhead?
Yeah, I didn't like that one. I didn't even watch the whole thing.
All right, he's going to continue his fruit tree printing. Okay, Cal, you have yourself a great day. It's good to see you in here. I'm going to try to finish this white dragon head.
Godspeed, Cal.
He's an amazing painter, and if you ever go on my Discord on the miniatures and brag posts, 90% of what you should be aiming for is what he does.
Yeah, he said something to you about your dragon, about your painting or something about the white. I was trying to read, but it's hard to read it on mine because it's not the same as, what I have.
Yeah.
So and plus I can't write to anyone in here. I have to go to my own app. But that's why I'm trying to read everybody's stuff.
I agree.
Life Force, that's lots of boobies in it.
Or
Matilda May.
the Mega Millions.
Matilda May walks
And
around
you
naked in the entire
build a
film.
compound and a private. So, I don't know what I'll.
Oh, Cujo. I
Meredith
remember
Nat.
that one. That was good.
Josh went.
Another
Six Nations.
Denise Crosby movie.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not Denise Crosby, is it?
It was the lady, the mom that you love.
No, that's I can't think of her name. A million things.
We were talking about different
Dee
moms.
Wallace. Dee Wallace.
Yeah. Because we were
Dee Wallace,
talking about
yes.
that,
How
and
the
I
hell
said
did I
when I read
forget
the
that?
book, because I love Stephen King books, and when I read the book, I just bawled my eyes out. It was so terrible, the whole thing that happened to the mom, because the little boy dies in the car, and then when they made the movie, I said, "Fuck him! I'm not going to go see them." And then someone went and saw it and told me the boy lives, and I went, "Really? Then I guess I'll go watch it." And it was good. It was a good movie. I love the better ending where the boy doesn't die. And same thing with
Like the Mist, how the movie did.
Yeah, The Mist. That was a short story of mine. That was freaking scary. They made it a pretty good movie too.
The actor version.
That was an awesome story. Good. And I like the ending better. Look, because it was like, happening.
It was pretty creepy.
Messed up ending, but
there is a version of The Mist on the collector's DVD. On the collector's DVD, if you have it for The Mist, there's a black and white version of the movie where The Mist is in black and white. The Mist with Frank Zane or Jane or whatever his name is, Thomas Jane.
Thomas Jane.
That movie's in black and white. That's
Jane.
the actual director's cut. He does it in black and white.
I might have to watch that one because I liked it. I thought it was good. And another one I want to do. I've been
Lair of the White Worm.
Is the one where it's a Stephen King one, and it's the devil, and they're fighting the people. I can't remember the name of it. I just went blank. Has the girl from Pretty in Pink.
Needful Things.
No, Pretty in Pink girls in it. It's a TV series. It was like four
The
days.
Stand. The real Stand, not the remake.
Yeah, the original Stand. I think we should do that. Don't you think that'd be a good one to do, Bruce?
I can find it.
Because there's the Stand, and then there's The View. I used to watch The View.
The Gunslinger, I heard, wasn't very good. Now the books were good.
No, it wasn't.
I liked it.
I kind of knew it was. That's an ambitious project right there. Trying to do the Gunslinger.
You know,
Dark Tower was good.
Fritzos brings up something. It's nightmare fuel. Have you guys watched Return to Oz?
Return to Oz was creepy.
I haven't seen it.
Yes. The Wheelers, the talking head. Like, how was that a kid's movie? Why did
somebody on drugs
parents let me watch that? Damn.
Somebody smoking dope wrote the script.
See, I don't think Chud should be on the list if Critters isn't on the list. Because they're almost the same movie. And Critters has Dee Wallace.
Yeah, you got a thing for Dee Wallace.
I've watched Critters a little bit too much. But
somebody was on X this morning when I was having my coffee. I read something and they were having a debate on whether or not McCone's wife was a man or a woman. And so I looked it up. And do you know that when she was in her 20s, she was his teacher and he was 15?
Who?
Macron, the French president or something.
Macron?
Yeah, I thought it was Macron. That's how I pronounced it.
Okay.
But his wife, and they were looking at it and saying that she was a man. And I said, no, she was a woman. You can go back and look at her picture. She was really pretty, but she was his teacher when he was 15. And then later they got married and she already had 3 kids. So she's way older than him. But he's got a thing for older women, apparently.
It's France. They got weird proclivities and France.
If you have friends like I have friends, it's okay to love a cougar.
So, and she is blonde, but she wears wigs and stuff like that.
I'm not going to knock the French 100 because they helped us out when we were just and we needed some support. And for the most part, you got the French Legion, Foreign Legion, pretty badass. Some of the French
so
that
basically,
I've met
her husband
cool.
is the same age as one of her kids because they were in high school together. So yeah, he ended up with his teacher, his school teacher. Right? Isn't that what a lot of young teenagers, young men want? I guess to get their teacher.
I love the reanimator.
No, that's the plot. It's not supposed to be reality because that's just.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if she was sleeping with him.
If it's a porno,
but she was his teacher once. Now she's married to him for a long time. They've been married for quite a while. But I just thought that was interesting. So I posted a bunch of
lie.
On there about that.
Teacher, Miss at my high school, and she was a young teacher, and you get a bunch of horny teenage boys trying to music and instruments. And they're thinking like, wow.
Like Witches of Eastwick, Susan Sarandon's character. Yeah. She was a music teacher. Yeah.
It's bound to happen. Hormones and
well, that one woman, she slept with her
because it's her
student, and she had a baby by him, and then she went to prison. And when she got out, she went back to him and they got married. And she's had a couple more kids, I think, with her student. I don't know if they're still married now, but they did for a little while.
Saturn III was a good movie. It was a bad movie. Good.
Is that Harvey Keitel and Kurt?
Yeah, they overdubbed Harvey and they had the robot, and he was the sociopath.
Yeah.
Virus was
Has
the one with the genetic robot thing on, and they were going to salvage the ship. It had what's her name?
Jamie Lee Curtis?
The last girl. I can't remember.
Jamie Lee Curtis?
Jamie Lee Curtis. Yes, thank you. Fine. She was in Virus, if I remember correctly.
That's another movie, Terror Train, that I remember was on the list with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Actually, I want to see Runaway Train from '85. That
Mhm.
let's see, Reanimator, Saturn 3. You gotta. There's another one with the Reanimator. You got to watch that back to back with From Beyond, and they're not quite the same.
From
movie.
Beyond.
What?
Yeah, Reanimator. They did a modern one. I think it came out a year. Really low budget. Can find it on Tubi.
Okay.
Kind of sucks, but I watched it anyways because I'm a sucker for crappy Lovecraft movies.
I'm pretty okay with bad movies.
Cause
We discovered that last week. I rated FDR American Badass higher than I rated Ace Ventura.
I can see why.
I just want you to understand that.
But it's a different category.
It is. It is. Ace Ventura was a wonderful multi-million-dollar film, and they had like $3 for FDR American Badass, which is par for the course. Looking forward to really.
And then like 1984 Dune. Flavor edit. Even better. But
yeah, that's
Dune TV series from 2000. It was done on a bunch of folks that looked like, part of the, and they're really hamming it up, and it's got a special place in my heart because of that. Like, it's a TV budget TV series, but it was done.
I have that on VHS somewhere in the stack of stuff. It might be back at my bedroom in Illinois, but I have that Dune sci-fi version. I'm not saying I'm proud of that, but I have it.
I'll admit, when I was training as a store manager of sorts, they gave me keys and after work and checked the VCR because I had it programmed to tape the show because it was like an hour before I got off work, and make sure that the TV series was recorded because that was the year that they Ultraviolet, not the Mila Jovovich film. That was a British cop program, but it dealt with vampires, and they had a nice little spin on a modern take of like, how do people combat vampires in 1998? So they had big old bulky cameras on guns and carbon-based projectiles, and they're 9mm. It was cool. And then the vampires turned to dust, but they like supernaturally come back. So it covered all the right and horror theme receptors in my brain. Think of it like X-Files meets vampires.
There was another movie with Thomas Jane.
The cops are run by
but it was a Frankenstein movie. Did you see that one, Bruce?
Nope.
When he was the monster.
Was that the? Yeah.
It was good. Was it a series or was it a movie? I don't know.
I want to say it was a series.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm terrible with names. I can never remember names.
Bad Taste was a great movie. Was it 4 years to complete?
Yeah, I don't remember.
What was the other one? Brain Dead.
Brain Dead's great.
Sumatran Rat Monkey.
Brain Dead is great, or Dead Alive as we know it. That's a Peter Jackson, like the perfect Peter Jackson movie for one movie.
What was the name of the movie that it had Steve Buscemi and his mother and the guy that was selling the stuff that turned out to eat bugs? It was like an insurance salesman, but so she ends up getting the wrong, and then turns into a and he's trying to hide her from the world while he's also got next door neighbor, the girl next door. I find that I'll put it in the list.
Please.
The 90s, I want to say.
Maybe I'm wrong about the actor. I think it was the guy that played he was in Game of Thrones. What was his name? I don't remember his name.
There's a whole bunch of good actors there, Janet.
No, it's terrible. I'm sorry. I'm talking out loud. Game of Thrones. I'm looking up the movie so I can find the actor. Then I'll click on him. He was in a movie. It was him. I just got him mixed up.
Company of Wolves wasn't bad either. That for those of you that really like the Grandma Love, Angela Lansbury's in that with David Warner. Okay, now that we said that, here we are.
That was a good movie.
It is a good movie. Renfield's great. What is the premise of the show you're trying to remember? That's a question for Janet.
I'm still trying to find it. I think it was Sean Bean or whatever. I think it was him that's in it. It's he plays Frankenstein. I'm trying to remember the one because I thought it was really good, but I didn't get to watch the whole thing.
Oh yeah, Frankenstein.
Was that what it was called?
That was the TV series.
It was a TV series.
So
it was pretty good. But a little bit I got to
episodes.
watch. I would love to watch the rest of it because he was good. It was very well done. But shit happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it turns out that he was like resurrected.
Yep. I mean, he doesn't know. He didn't.
Ed and his dead mother. That's what it was.
Yeah, Frixos28. You're going to find that I'm a very big fan of Canon Film Group and Golan and Globus and Menchin. I really like the fact that they existed and they made movies for me to watch and just completely enjoy or just devour, because that's what that's mine. That's my stuff. There's also this really bad turd,
and it's so misleading because it's like
there's this.
It's got to be better.
There's
right?
this turd here. God, I've never turned off a horror movie before this, and I've watched some really bad horror movies, but this one here made me so pissed.
That was the one.
That
was the one with the Lord of the Rings guard.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings and Aaron Eckhart did not mix. Yeah. CFG is my boys. Those I don't understand why more people don't love Canon for bringing what they did. Not a lot of it is not high art, but a lot of it is out there, and it'll help you chew popcorn. All right. So with that being said, I guess we've kind of. I don't mean to exhaust everything on Ace Ventura. I did like the film. I thought it was good to watch it a second time. It deserved a second look.
Mhm.
Definitely not one of my favorite movies of '94. We have a whole back catalog where, like, for week after week after week, Bruce picked 1994, and
Mhm.
we even watched some really bad 1994 sci-fi in there, but it's definitely one of those.
Yeah, it's funny because uh, wasn't Dumb and Dumber like out a couple of months later? Another Jim Carrey movie.
It was '95.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I could have swore that's '95.
Because they talked about him and that Lauren Holly woman.
Might have came out in 95.
Yeah.
Lauren Holly was supposed to be in this.
Yeah, and she wasn't, but she was in the next movie he made.
Yeah, that I think that's '95 or '96. No shit, it's 1994. Wow.
But it came out after at the box office.
Yeah, it came out because this
They
was
met
released in
each other.
February.
They met each other on something else they were working on, and then they wanted her for this movie, and then they picked her to be in Liar Liar as his love interest. Not Liar Liar, I mean that one that you were just talking about.
Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber.
I'll take it. So come by next week. Was it the Frankenstein Chronicles, Janet?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was it.
Thank you.
Was that what it was called? Six Nations? I couldn't find it. I didn't have a chance to go through all the different stuff I was trying.
I'm going to say yes.
It was something like that, but it was really good. I didn't get to finish it. So that's another series I need to sit and watch.
Always good to have you here, Bone. Thank you, sir, for being around.
If I remember correctly, it was kind of a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it ended that way. The Frankenstein Chronicles. Yes, that's Sharp. It. That's the one. Yeah, I don't have Netflix anymore, so I'm gonna have to.
Not a whole lot.
I'm gonna have to get it, I guess.
There's not a whole lot on there. You actually get more for your buck with Tubi.
I know a guy.
Well, I'm just gonna ask around and see if somebody has it on DVD, and I'll just borrow it from them. I've been doing that lately. I've been, between my sisters, we'll say, "What do you have?" And I'll say, "This is what I got." One of my sisters is borrowing 6 Feet Under because I have the complete series on DVD.
Good movie.
It's a TV series. Yeah, I love it. And Dexter too. Dexter's another one of my favorite shows. If you guys haven't seen the TV series Dexter, you need to watch it.
It's on the shelf.
It's really good. I have the books too.
So next week, Saturday, we are getting back to the high level gaming and see how the players do with that and how they deal with hobgoblins along with fire giants in tow. Janet will be part of that stream. Sunday of next week, we're watching Cat People, 1942 version. If it's really, really short, might try to find a Cat People 1982 version just so we can compare, contrast, etc. Anyway, my name is Bruce. Janet, would you like to walk us out today?
Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone who stepped in and hung out with us, sent us chats, and gave us some great information about different stuff that you guys remembered when we talked about such a cool movie and brought back good memories. At least it did for me. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I've been hounding them for a while to put that on there, and we finally got to watch it, so I was really happy about it. But thank you everybody for supporting us. We really appreciate it, and we love doing this, and I do. I look forward to it every week. We had to change days, but I'm still happy that we're doing it, It's fun. I enjoy it, and it's good for everybody to hang out with your friends and socialize and just relax once in a while, at least once a week. Get away from the grind of paying your bills and laugh and just enjoy some fun friends. And thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate it. So does Bruce. And I'm going to start a new game on Wednesday. I don't know the time for sure. I think it's 8 Central Time. My time, it's 8 Central. I'm going to start playing, it's 8. A game with Bear on Bear's channel. So I have no idea for sure what's going to happen, but just letting you guys know. Kind of nervous.
Sounds like it's going to be awesome.
It's a 2-hour game. He says they're going to be timed. He only does it for 2 hours. So that's what happens.
Okay. Look forward.